Oh, you got us live already.
Shannon likes to go on early.
Okay. Lindsay Gilpin, Nathan Delay, Dave PNSF, The Train Freak.
Got Nathan in here?
He's there.
A lot of people.
Yeah, they just popped in like in the last couple of minutes.
Time stops when I'm falling for you. The world stops spinning. My head is spinning too. Time
Hey, we haven't got any container man in here. Where's he?
Probably on the road somewhere, I would imagine.
Probably. Probably right there.
I stop where I'm falling for you.
Yeah, I got Keith's Cup
As your world starts spinning.
Oh, cool.
came in this week.
As your head spinning too.
He's on Teespring too.
Yeah, I'm trying to get one from most everybody that's got one. I've got a few of them. I got one from Jason. I got one from Steve Brown. I got ours.
I need to get one from ours.
I've got Nate. I got Nate's old Nate, the Tygon Valley. So he'll probably end up changing that to his East Broad Top.
Heart stopped
So
when I
his will be no longer, I would imagine.
My world stopped spinning.
Anyway, goes with all the rest of my cups.
Revolves
I'm running.
around you.
Bought these two bookcases when I bought this house.
When you first
Put my
saw
cups in.
me.
And
Did your world stop spinning?
there's one of them.
Does your world
And they're probably 3 deep on each shelf. And then that one
Chocolate.
over there's full except for the row with books on it. And then I've got probably have 2 boxes full of cups upstairs.
You're gonna have to give up the books. Sorry, Claude. The cups
Yeah.
are gonna have to make the books are gonna have to make way for the mugs.
It's that or more
head spinning too.
more shelves.
We got 10 likes already. We haven't even started.
Everybody loves
They love us so much that they're expecting us to be good. So no pressure.
it. They better go somewhere else.
Yeah, we've got to perform.
If they're looking for good, they.
minutes.
2-minute warning.
Did your heart stop when you first saw me? Did your world stop spinning? Does your world revolve around me?
Monty Python.
That was the one I was trying to think of. I had Perry the Platypus stuck in my head. Life's a piece of shit. When you look at it, love's a laugh and death's a joke is true.
My favorite skit that they did was the dead parrot. That was a
This
crack
is an ex-parrot.
It's bloody demise. Oh yeah, it makes me laugh every time I think of it.
I want to be a lumberjack. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. Sleep all night and I work all day. That sounded like a seagull.
Bro.
Oh, bugger off. I don't like crows.
Oh, I only got 4 chocolates left. That sucks. Oh boy, good thing we're talking.
Good morning.
Guten Morgen. It's all your fault. Oh my God, 44. Oh. Wow. That's crazy.
No, we'll have to do a giveaway at 50.
Good morning.
We'll have to do a giveaway on the show 50.
Oh yeah. What? We could give away your K27. You don't have any money left. My God, you can't have a penny left. Okay,
No, John says no audio from Shannon.
that's a good thing.
What? Yes, I was going to say.
That was my fault. I keep forgetting to unmute both sections of myself every time.
Those sections. I like that.
We can hear him, but no one else can hear him.
Yeah, it's annoying because, like, literally, because I'm just like, oh yeah, I just have to press on one microphone button. No, I have to press on 2 microphone buttons.
So we're still stuck with him. You guys don't have to suffer with him, we do.
Oh,
You can't remember to do 2 buttons. Oh my God.
hey, I've had the kids for the last 2 nights. If you can't tell, I'm tired.
Well, maybe we should start by saying hello to everyone in chat.
Yeah, let's
I
do
think we
that.
should.
Someone else can take the reins. I'm just going to press the buttons.
Okay. Well, let's see who is in chat today. We have. Come on.
Oh, I missed Fred. Good morning, Fred. I missed you.
Here we go. We have Alma, Bernard C. We have Roy Hardwick. We have Cross Anchors Railroad. I'm not sure who that one is, which one of you it is. JCNSF N Scale, Dwight Curley, Ball and Hager. We have Heath from Humanity Junction, Crazy Joe, Leslie Gilpin, Marty M, Nathan Delay,
Boom.
Possum Bayou, John from Schuylkill River Valley. Hi Steve, you're in here too. And Jason the Train Freak. So,
Dwight Curley.
all of you.
Dale Bass.
Where
else did we miss?
His name hasn't come up in here.
Yeah, sorry, I just turned my camera off because my wife just got out the shower. I don't reckon anyone wants to make this
God,
show.
whatever you did, you changed the volume in these things. Now you're blowing my ears out. Wow.
Is that me, Steve, or is that Shannon?
No, that was me.
It's Shannon. Oh my God, you got loud.
I didn't do anything. I just muted myself and then unmuted.
Okay, well, you got loud. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, Claude, why don't you take it away with what we're going to be talking about today?
Throws me right under the bus to start off. Well, we're going to start talking about what scale you model in and why you model in that scale. I guess I could start with myself. I'm modeling HO and HON3, so it's HO standard gauge and HO narrow gauge. I decided when I got back into it, I was debating on N scale or HO, and N scale is just a little bit too small for me anymore. But the narrow gauge gave me the larger scale to do detail and that sort of thing with. But it gave me the opportunity to put more track in a smaller space, so that's why I went that way. Plus, I like the narrow gauge mountain railroading, so that's why I'm where I'm at with it. As far as well, I lost my train of thought there now. Derailed.
Man. Why you
guys take it from there? That's my story. I don't know if anybody's got any questions other than that on it, but pretty straightforward.
One thing I'd like to segue into from Claude as well is, as you all are probably aware of, Sparky has gotten bitten by the bug that usually bites one or two of us every year. It's a pandemic, I know. No, it's not the showstopper. It's the bite of the lack of mojo. Bum, bum, bum. We need the music. Yeah, it happens to all of us. So I'm hoping from this we can segue into that as we go through the show and talk about why we model, but what also keeps us modeling what we model. What do we do to get out of the funk?
Well, and also I would add how you balance the hobby with real life, because that's another problem that everybody, I would think, probably experiences. I know I do, and I think that.
Well, Steve, how did you end up modeling N scale?
Well, that's because I got a gift from my brother-in-law.
Hey, Steve, hang on a second. Shannon?
Yeah,
Shannon,
mute your mic,
Shannon.
Shannon.
Your mic, Shannon.
Well, you need to mute yourself.
Well, they can hear you.
Test. There we go.
Okay.
Oh,
There you go. Okay, Steve, go ahead.
What was I saying? Oh, why I'm N scale.
That was segue into you.
N scale. No, I've always done HO up until about 2 years ago. Got a package from my brother-in-law in the mail, and it was all N scale trains that he'd had for 40 years. And it was like Christmas opening the box. It was like, that's really cool. And that's how I started. I have limited space out here in my shop office, and I had a little switching layout that was HO, and I figured, well, why not? So I started with the stuff that he had, and it kind of dominoed into this mess. And so that, it's small. It's a huge sacrifice as far as, detail and having to see stuff and work on it. But, for the space advantage, N scale is pretty good, for me. I mean, if I ever get the room, I would love to go back to HO. I mean, that's what I've always done. But for now, this is what I'm doing. And it's working okay. That's why I model what, the scale I model. How about you, Al? Why did you pick S scale?
Yes, I picked something way out there, way wacky that probably very few people have heard of, just to be difficult. No. Mine was basically a necessity of prototype because I wanted to model what I grew up with, what I've seen, what I lived with, out there. So, and the only way to do that was by joining my local club, which started an S-scale group. And the reason for that was HON 3.5. Just mechanisms and locos were very rare, and the ones that you could get were very expensive at the time. So it was easy to get away with HO locos and HO mechanisms and double O to get the same result. But all we did was just make the locos slightly larger, so they can support. Still using the HO mechanisms, we can represent our local 3-foot, 6-inch gauge track very easily. And it's the prototype. So that's why we chose that weird and wacky scale 1 to 64.
Interesting. Now that I'm back and my wife is dealing with Andreas, who thinks bedtime is unreasonable hours of the night, I guess I'll start with why I model N scale. So, when I was younger, I started off with HO scale. My granddad got me into it, and he just bought me anything and everything you could find at at garage sales or at swap meets or whatever. And I had a mixture of American, Australian. I think I had one English locomotive at one point. And that's what I grew up with. And then after many years, not able to do the hobby because my parents couldn't financially support it. I was able to finally get some money and start to support it myself. And because of the space constraints I had, I jumped straight into N scale. Never really knew N scale really existed until I started doing some homework and research. And I'm like, oh sweet, this is actually quite reasonable. I can get a lot of stuff done, and now I am currently putting myself in debt with the hobby. As we all
got
do.
that right.
As we all are.
Yeah. Steve can attest to that. Considering how many of my locos do you currently have, Steve?
I lost track. Honestly, I don't know. I look at them and put them back in the box, and they're in the back. I'd have to pull them out and count them.
Yeah, it's probably.
So I'm not really sure.
I think I counted 9 on my fingers with Ali before. I'll have to go through them again, but if I do that,
I hope I can come. Hope I can come up with the same number that you do.
Oh, jeez, we'll work it out. But yeah, so anyway, in saying that, I'm just trying to look through the chat. I can't. Oh, hang on. Heath said I was going to.
I was just going to say that Dave BNSF N scale panoramic views with N scale. You can do a lot of bigger scenery and longer trains with N scale. You can with HO.
Did anyone have a look at what Heath just said?
Oh yeah.
I chose N scale because it's what Shannon models, and I want to be like Shannon.
I'm starting to worry about Heath.
Well, that's the thing. I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to figure out if that is actually Heath, or is that the first taste we're getting of Heath's girlfriend?
Or is he hallucinating?
Or is he hallucinating?
Should I put Heath on a timeout?
No, because I think that'd leave him to his thoughts for far too long, and he'll think of other things to say.
Yeah, and you might break it as well, Steve. Roy makes a good point that S scale is popular. It does work with things like the old Matchbox cars because they are very, very close to 1/64th. So that's why I can get away with a lot of the vehicles that I've got ready for my layout once it arrives here, which will be next week. So yeah, that is one of the advantages of modelling 1/64th for me. There is a lot out there.
All right, now he's saying he chose N scale because he lives in a New York City apartment, and he could not set up anything else. Heath, to me, that's just an excuse.
Yeah, I lived in a 10 by 14 bedroom when I was still at home in high school, and I had a 4 by 12 layout in my bedroom. So
yeah, I only had enough room just for the bed and a bit of floor space.
The fact that you don't have space.
Yeah, that's like
mine
me.
was HL, by the way.
Yeah, that was like me when I was at my parents' place. I think there was like a 1 by 2 foot space of floor, and then the rest of it was either my set of drawers, my layout, or my bed.
Yeah.
So you had enough room to open the door, walk in, close the door, and then you go, am I going to the bed? Am I going to look at the layout? Or am I going to get changed?
See, that's where the Class 24 competition was born. Class 24 competition was fitting as much as you can within 24 square feet. And you'll be surprised what creative ideas people did come up with. We even managed to fit an S-scale layout into 24 square feet. Mm-hmm. It is possible, ladies and gentlemen. So don't say you've got no excuse to model some of the bigger scales when you've got only 24 square feet to play with.
Heath, if you did Z-scale, you'd be pulling what little hair you have left out.
Yes.
Oh.
Roy said he had a Murphy style 4x8 layout in his bedroom, and I've seen those before. Taking on Murphy bed frame and make a layout on it. The only problem with that is everything on there, except the trains, have to be glued down really well, and then you have to take your trains off and put them back on every time you want to put it up or run your trains. So you can't leave stuff on it, but it does save space.
Those are the ones that flip up, aren't they?
Yeah.
Heath, you're not helping yourself here. Heath just said
comment.
Yeah, Heath
says, I didn't choose HO. HO chose me.
Yeah.
You still be a thrasher.
Yeah. No, I'm just reading Heath's comment. My girlfriend would never allow it. Many years ago, I had G-scale layout around my living room. Sounds like someone's under the thumb. Under the thumb. Yes, dear. No worries, dear. 2 bags full, dear.
Yeah, Jason says HO's big enough to work with easily, but small enough to have a decent sized layout.
Yeah.
Yeah, HO's probably not only because it's got the most available stuff retail-wise out there, it's easier to handle, and yet it's still small enough that you can get, a decent kind of operation even in a very small space.
Now wait a minute, Marty, you said you switched to N scale? I thought you were HO. Did you just do this recently? Yeah, your layout 17 by 10. Boom.
Yeah, that's actually a decent sized layout.
That's huge.
Oh yeah.
But if it's N scale, that's massive.
Yeah. Indian Head Valley is saying he does HO scale, but would love to afford to be able to do O scale.
Yeah.
Which, and that's the thing, like a lot of people, this goes back to when you start on model railroad, what is it you want to achieve? How much can you afford? How much space you've got? It's all these little factors, but at the same time, when I jumped into N scale, I was at the start, considering to do a small layout. If I ever get the chance to, buy my own house in the future, I can guarantee I'm going to be knocking some holes in some walls, and my wife's going to kill me, when, I have like a 100-car train running around the house along the walls. And then I'll just have this spare bedroom where it'll just be a staging yard, 3 levels of layout.
Oh, I can see Crystal's face now.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And I might even have my own mail train where the wife will just get a piece of paper, roll it up, stick it in one of the gondolas. It'll go down the line.
Come up when your marriage is over.
Something tells me that won't ever happen.
The first part of it, I'll have to get a house.
Yeah. Should just take the train off the track.
Yeah. Well, the comments are starting to fly in now.
Yeah.
So let's see. Leslie says, Dad bought me a second-hand 00 electric set for 5th Christmas.
What's 00?
It's HO scale, but in English. So HO scale is 1 to 87, and 00 is 1 to
76.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was thinking, I was about to say 1 to 64. I'm like, no, that's S scale. Is it between S and HO? What is it?
Yeah, it's it still uses 16.5mm gauge track, which is what HO is. But yeah, the British used that because of the time the motors weren't small enough to fit in the much smaller British locomotives. So they had to make the locomotives bigger to get the motors to fit. Hence why 00 scale appeared.
Yeah.
And then to correct that, they come up with EM scale, which is fine scale. So that's another kettle of fish.
Yeah, exactly. So does anyone else want to say why they model in the scale they do? With that, what keeps you going, modeling in the hobby, as, Ali was saying before, Sparky earlier in the week, he did his live stream and he was going on about how he lost his mojo, and, everyone has their nicks and knacks with the hobby, and, I've heard some stories where some people, get into a position similar to Sparky, and they just bail out of the hobby completely, and then 5-10 years down the track, they jump in a completely different scale, and they turn around and go, wow, I actually enjoy this scale a lot more. If I did this scale earlier, I might have not jumped out of the hobby when I did back then.
Dave BNSF N scale makes a good comment. I went shopping for an RC helicopter, came home with a lifelike N scale starter set, Conrail paint. I was in the hobby shop. I used to work in a hobby shop, and I was big into the helicopters. So the comment that you later made down here, or that Heath made about they crash less than the helicopters, another reason why I stuck with the trains and didn't stick with the helicopters. I'm not the best RC pilot.
Yeah. Actually, a side note, this was a bit off the rails. Did you know if you can fly an RC helicopter, you technically know how to fly a real helicopter because the controls are pretty much the same?
Mm-hmm. Well, instead of 2 sticks, you've got 1 stick, though. But it's all about the mixing. That's what it's all about.
No, it's not just 1 stick. Some of them have got the second stick on the side for the up and down. So you've got the stick for steering and then the up and down on the side of the seat.
Yeah, you're forgetting the huge difference between real aircraft and model aircraft is the power to weight ratio.
Yeah.
Power to weight ratio is nowhere close to the same. Models are way overpowered for the most part.
Yeah, you can't go with real things.
Yeah, you can't do what you can't do with a real helicopter what you can do with a model helicopter.
Yeah.
For
Anyway,
sure.
that's enough of that side, mate.
But
That was the topic.
that's I know that because I flew RC airplanes. So
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, I had a couple of airplanes. I had a 40-pound third scale airplane that was flying on a 38cc engine with a gear reduction, and it was right on the edge of what a real aircraft would be. You had to fly the airplane. You couldn't get away with not doing the proper flying. Otherwise, you'd lose the airplane.
Yeah.
And most people don't do that in that hobby. But anyway, I got burnt out on that hobby for a couple of reasons. One of them was I was building planes for other people instead of myself because I wasn't flying that much. And then the other was the FAA rules that came down, and then some of the other stuff that was going on in the club and stuff like that. So I got burned out on that. And then my son suggested we build a layout together, and he knew I had trains when I was a kid, so that got me started again. And you've seen what disaster that caused.
Yeah.
So at least my wife thinks it's a disaster. But
Marty Ant puts out a good, small goals. He does small goals and finish small projects one at a time when he gets frustrated. So I guess you dial down a little bit.
Well, I think the biggest thing is we have to remember it's a hobby, and a hobby is supposed to be fun, something you do with your spare time when you feel like doing it. If it ever starts to feel like a job, then you're either trying to do too much or you're trying to please somebody besides yourself.
You stole my line.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You stole my line.
Yeah. But I mean, that's one of the things you have to. It has to be fun for you.
And if it's not fun, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've been there. There's times when I think, oh, I'm going to go up and work on the layout, and I'll walk up there and I'll walk in the room and I'm standing there looking at it, and I go, I don't want to work on it today, and I'll turn around, shut the light off, and leave the room. I don't force myself to do stuff. And that's why I only do an update maybe once a month, because I didn't want to have to stay to a schedule. It takes too much time to edit just the small videos I do. I can't imagine doing some of the stuff some of the guys do on here. But if you like the video part and you like the streaming stuff, if that's part of what you like doing, hey, more power to you. But it can get crazy. I know Steve Brown had that problem. He started out and was going great guns, and then all of a sudden just cut back. And everybody comes to that at some point. It becomes more than what you think it's going to be for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then if you throw in YouTube channels and try to build YouTube channels and focusing on subscribers and things of that nature, and that becomes its own job.
Yeah, I personally, I'm not monetized. I don't care how many subscribers I get. I mean, if I get them, that's great, and I appreciate the ones I have, the people that want to come and comment. But I'd rather put my content out, and if you want to see it and you like it, fine. If you don't like it, that's good too. And not everybody likes everything. So I'm not trying to please anybody by putting the videos out. I started putting them out because people wanted me to. And so I'm showing them what I do. But I'm not doing it trying to please anybody. I'm not trying to get to a certain subscriber count, and I'm not trying to please YouTube by any means. So if my channel goes away someday, it wouldn't be a surprise to me.
Yeah.
But
I think a lot of
plan on doing that, but it could come to that.
I think a lot of people get caught up in chasing the pot of gold, with building a YouTube channel and making money. And I don't think you could do that.
Yeah, it can happen. In saying that, Heath from Humanity Junction actually came up with a good question. Steve, why did you choose to do 7.5-inch scale instead of 7.25-inch scale or gauge? I should say.
That's easy because it shows me, because on the West Coast and most of the United States it's 1.5-inch scale. Someplace it changes to 1.25-inch on the East Coast, and there's a transition between it someplace in the States. I don't know, but out here it's all 1.5-inch scale. I don't know where the 1.25-inch came from, but it shows me. That's the common
quarter.
Yeah. And you can run them on, but the gauge is a little different. A lot of guys that run on both, they have equipment that you can adjust the wheel sets in and out for. It's a Allen head, screw. You get up in there and you loosen the wheel off the axle and just adjust it, and then you're good to go. But it's not a problem out here because we don't have 1.25-inch.
Claude did steal my thunder for a couple of things.
He's good at that.
Yeah, I actually
job.
think a point system that works for me personally. I don't know if it'll work for you guys, but just as an option for you guys to consider, my 5-point system, and everyone else in the back on track knows it, is step 1, step away. If you force yourself, your head won't be in the game, and you're going to break something. 2, research. I have found sitting down and reading into my prototype more helps, especially when you learn something new. Now, you can't say that you know everything about your given prototype. There's always something new you can learn. 3, inspiration. Go taking trains. It is unbelievably fun and relaxing. And if your prototype doesn't run anymore, go to a museum. Museums have lots of resources that you can learn from and further inspire you. 4, talk to others. Talk to other like-minded individuals, whether that be by visiting your local club or through visiting a friend's layout. YouTube is great, but it's no substitute for talking and laughing with actual people. I know that's a bit difficult with COVID. Oh, I've said it now, the showstopper. But at the same time, you've still got to interact with people. Otherwise, we're all going to lose our interaction. Now I can't talk. We're going to lose our ability to talk to people. And 5, what Claude said before, fun. Remember, the hobby is supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, why do you do it? And that's a good question to always ask yourself. Why do you do it? And that's how we go back full circle into why did we choose the scale with model? Why do we choose the prototype with model?
I got a question.
Question?
So who's buying me a plane ticket to go to the museums and visit my friends so I can see the prototypes and the layouts I want to see?
There's lots of other American prototypes here in Australia that you can also look at, and there's lots of museums you can look at. And don't just look at your own prototype, look at other prototypes as well. The last thing I've been looking at was French prototypes, because that was just interesting to me.
Shannon, just have Steve sell those locos, and he can buy you a plane ticket.
There you go.
There you go.
That's a good idea.
I don't want to think of that. Now, I did see a question fly by that he's coming up with some good questions, and he's meant to be taking his dog to the vet. Where
Priorities.
Where is it? Oh no, I lost it. Oh, question. If money and space were not an issue, would you still model in your current chosen scale?
Ooh.
Okay,
For me,
Claude?
that would be no.
Yeah, I would.
What about you?
It'd just be bigger.
Yeah, I think for Claude and me, it's always going to be yes, because our decision was based on prototype.
Yeah. Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, if money and time and space were, yeah, I'd definitely be HO. I would be massive.
Yeah. If money and space wasn't an issue for me, I would Okay, there's two ways I'd approach it. I'd still stick with N scale because I just love the long trains you can have in such a small space. But I would also be crazy enough to invest in T scale. For those who aren't too familiar with T scale is 1 to 480, so it's half of Z scale. And the reason I would do T scale is because there's a guy here in Australia who he literally went onto Google Maps, scaled down the map to 1 to 500 scale, and then laid his layout on that map. What I would do is I would do the same on a much larger scale. Like if I could, I would recreate some line from. If I had enough space, I would recreate the whole American network in T scale.
Good luck with that.
Really?
Yeah. Talk about one that would never get done.
Yeah.
That'd be one.
Shannon, Steve Anderson tells plane tickets are cheap right now, Shannon.
Yeah, it's a bit hard for me to get out of the state when I'm still locked in.
Just sneak out.
How can I sneak out? I mean, they've got checkpoints. Put it this way, for me to travel 2 miles took me 45 minutes.
It is pretty crazy if you look at all the news reels and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, not to mention, I'm not going to be paying a $2,500 fine for doing the wrong thing. There was another point I was going to make, but I can't remember what that point was.
If it's important, it'll come back.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hey, has anyone noticed Claude and I? Samesies. Check it out. You know what else is cool? You should check out in the description down below. In the links is the links to our print store, where you can get shirts, you can get pillows, you can get mugs, you can now even get hats. How cool is that?
Oh, we can get hats now?
Yeah, hats are in there.
Jeez,
You've been for a long time, Shannon. What
rock have I been living under?
Been?
I don't know.
Where the hell have you been? God.
When I find out, I'll let you know.
So, if you're interested, definitely get onto that link. Link in the description down below. Also, while you're looking in the description down below, don't forget keychains, and get onto that traveling boxcar while you can, because that's only going to go so far, and then once it gets back, you'll have missed out. So make sure you get onto that list. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Back to you guys.
Yeah.
Ali,
And
Ali, every time I hear you say that, I swear it's like you're trying to shave that extra 0.2 of a second off every time. It's like I can shorten this. I can shorten this.
Got to make sure it's in there.
Yeah. I remember my other points as well. Because I am in lockdown, I actually have to have a written permission slip of sorts from my workplace, which I do now currently have a part-time job. I have to have a permission slip essentially to say, hey, Mr. Police Officer, I'm on my way to work, so I am legally allowed to go to work between these hours of the day. Anything outside of these hours, you can find me as you wish. Do it?
Everyone's asking where your re-railer is, Steve. You just showed it before.
right here. You know what? They've got glow-in-the-dark ones now.
That is cool.
There you go.
Perfect for night running sessions.
I changed my mind. If money and size wasn't an issue, I want to do what Jason wants to do.
What's he said?
If money and size wasn't an issue, he would just go and buy a real short line railroad.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, 1-to-1 scale.
I love 1-to-1 scale.
Why did none of us think of that?
Yeah,
That's
you
an
talk about a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you going back to if time, money, and room wasn't an issue, I would do 1.5" scale all over my yard. So I wouldn't even do this. I'd be in the live steam.
I don't like this question anymore. It's making me think of lots of ideas.
A lot of other stuff.
My mind is going, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want it all, I want it all. God dang it.
Oh yeah.
So going back to our other segue, which was what keeps you interested so you don't lose the mojo. Come on, guys, in the comments, put down what you do. What's your idea to keep you going, to stop you from getting to burnout? Like I said,
And how many in chat have actually experienced it?
yeah.
Or do you not burn
Your
out?
experiences.
I can
You know,
say,
if you haven't burned out, what did you do not to burn out?
Well, I don't think you. I don't know that you can do this. You might be able to, but
Mum.
in my experience, no matter what I've
Mom.
gotten into, whether it was sports or hobbies or pretty much anything else, yeah, I can be real gung ho at first, but that's going to kind of die out, and then I'm faced with the reality of doing whatever that is when I don't feel like doing whatever it is. So that can lead to burnout, and that's where you just got to get up and walk away and do something different, because in most cases, it's the desire to be there again is going to come back. But if you force it, you're just going to make it worse. And so, or at least in my personal experience, that's what happens.
This is the reason I burn out constantly.
I got out of trains the first time because the kids came along.
I haven't. Well, that's the thing. I haven't gotten out of trains. It's just this little one decides to use up all my important energy. Yes, all my energy, so that I can't do any railroading. I get to the end of the day, I look at my railroad and I go, I just want to go to bed. I just want to go to bed.
No, that's true. Well, and at my age, and Steve can probably vouch for this, you get the physical elements. Like I've got a bad back and feet and knees, and at any given point, at least one of those is hurting.
Yeah.
And
there's
it can
something
make it
always
tough to
hurting.
stand in the train room and work on stuff, or even sit on a stool and do stuff.
Yeah.
So that can play a part in my problems with staying with it and doing something. But there again, it's something that I do in my spare time. I have a lot more spare time now than I used to, but I still don't go up there every second that I'm not working or doing something else. So there's times I just don't go up there.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And some of that comes with age. The guys that are our age know that you lose drive as the older you get. When I was 20, that layout up there would be done already. And
Right.
even with the more things I had to do away from the hobby, it still would have been done because I'd have been up there late at night doing that. And building it, and would be finished by now. I have no doubt about that. But I can't do that now. It just doesn't work for me. So I go up when it's convenient and when it's fun for me, and I work on it until I get tired of it, or until my feet or my back or something says, "Oh, you better go stand." So it just is what it is.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And with my layout, even though I can't spend the time I'd like to most days, for the last 6 months when I was, unemployed as such, or not really unemployed, I was, but I wasn't. I'm not going to go into the logistics of it. But, when I was in that situation, I had so much more time, because the hours I'd usually be at work, I'm like, sweet. I'm spending those hours on the layout. I'm getting stuff done on the layout. I then started buying a whole lot of stuff. I started sending a lot of stuff to Steve. I started doing a lot of research. I started to do a lot of deals backwards and forwards. I built my son his layouts. got him set up. He's now up and running. With the extra time I had, I just kept going backwards and forwards with everything. Like I do a little bit here, a little bit there, but when I do it, I plan it out. I go, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I need to do. These are the stages I have to do it in.
But if you're someone like me, for example, and you've got hundreds and hundreds of those projects lying around unfinished, and you can walk in there and see them all, like, oh, I've got to do that. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, that's got to be done too. That can put you off as well. I know that has put me off a couple of times where I've gone, where do I start? There's just too much to do. And the reason why each one of these projects is stalled for one reason or another, I get back onto it and I go, oh, yeah, that's why I start. And
yeah. Oh, I know that.
Well, and then you have your real life projects too.
Steve has asked me, we'd be on video chatting while we're working on the layouts and stuff, and that was one of the things that was a lot of fun during the lockdowns and stuff was just getting on whereby here and talking together while we're doing. That's kind of how Beans Trackside Beans got started.
Yeah,
was doing that very thing. And that was a lot of fun because we got to chat and stuff while we're working on our layouts.
And we got a lot done too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
But, yeah.
And you guys
But
would
it's all
see us
about
behind
perspective and where you keep the hobby, I think. And, but yeah, doing it with friends is a lot more fun.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, always. Yeah, always. It'll always be much more fun with friends. But in saying that, with what you were saying, Ali, I'm one to tend to do that as well. I tend to have a lot of little projects and start and not finish. When I have a few projects, what I tend to do, I go, all right, I'll go to one, I just choose the nearest project and I go, okay, why did I stop this project? Oh, I need to get this, that, and that. Okay, I'll order this now. I'll now put it aside. What's the next project? Okay, I'll continue this project, I can do that. Or if I need parts for that, I'll order the parts, put it aside. And then as the parts come, I go, okay, those parts were for that project. Those parts were for that project. And then once I finish a project, I go, okay, what's the next project? Why did I stop this project? Okay, those parts arrived last week. I'm going to get started. I'm going to get it finished.
That's a very good point.
Don't ever just grab a project, look at it and go, oh, that's what I stopped. Grab a project and go, why did I stop? Okay, that's the reason why. For me to keep going, I'll order the parts. Doesn't necessarily mean when they arrive you're going to jump straight on it. Just means, okay, I can put that aside. Like, to give you an idea, there are all my sound decoders. There's about 7 in there.
I've seen those before.
Yeah, I'm not going to put them in locomotives today. Like when I get time, I'll go. One day I'll go. Okay, I've got nothing else. What loco is going to get sound today? Okay, it's going to be X loco. Okay, so I need that size speaker, so I'll go order that speaker. I'll start doing the wiring and get as far as I can. Once it's finished, wait for the speaker, put the speaker in, job done.
Steve 87th makes a good point here. He says, to prevent burnout, find a different job. And so does Dave B. in the scale. He says, I go to Vinny's house to look at his layout. There you go. There's some inspiration for you. Go look at some other YouTube channels. Look at other people's layouts.
Yeah.
My son is feeding me peanuts.
You're not picking them up with your nose, are you?
No.
Ooh.
Okay.
I think
Wilmer picked up on what I was talking about with the aches and pains, and like I say, all those guys that are older definitely have some of those. It's like I told my wife the other day: if I wake up and nothing's hurting, I know I'm dead. So there's always something anymore that hurts, and you just kind of work through it. After a while, you get used to it. But
oh yeah.
There's some when you just can't keep going, and I will. I'll go up and work and come down and try to sit down, and it's like my knees don't want to bend. So there's always something going on like that. And then that is here recently is a lot of why I'm
see what
not
you
out
got.
there. But I try to get up
See,
there.
Shannon, what you got to look forward to.
Look forward to.
Exactly, all you young guys.
Yeah, getting old.
Yeah, but you got to
Yeah.
remember, like I'm in the automotive industry. I'm still doing my mechanical apprenticeship. I'm now currently being a dismantler, so I'm pulling the damn things apart again. I think what was it? I think it was Wednesday. Wednesday, I moved 2 engine blocks barehanded, and like next day, I come into work. I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. I'm feeling a bit tired, feeling a bit run down. Oh no! And I'm trying to undo this bolt, and it's like, oh, I can't. Oh, another peanut. Thank you.
That just changed. Went from zero, from 100 to 0 in like that.
Wilmer had a good point. He said, "Go to a train show. That'll inspire you," and it will. When we get back to that point where we can go to train shows and they'll have them. I know they canceled the one around here, the only one around here that's worth going to. They canceled it for this year, so it'll be another year and a few months before I get to go to another train show.
Yeah,
if you're anywhere around Denver, Colorado, go up to Greeley, about 45 minutes north of Denver, and go to the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. It's fantastic. Really a nice layout, and there are so many scenes on that layout that something there has got to inspire you.
Yeah. Now that's something that I look forward to. Like, my wife can attest to it. Usually, I get a lot more work done the months leading up to an exhibition compared to in between exhibitions, because solely for the fact that my name's getting out there in the exhibition circuit to the point where I have to go, okay, people who have seen this layout before, there needs to be some sort of change so that way it doesn't look like nothing's getting done. I want it to be somewhat different. And, and unfortunately, because of the showstopper, I had 8 shows I was invited to this year, and I wasn't able to attend any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Bernard,
lost out
he said he's like the
on-
Tin Man. Side rod's always locking up.
Yeah, that was a good one. I know what that feels like.
Yeah. Jeez, how many?
In the middle of the
Getting flat spots on your drive wheels.
Yeah. Hey, I'm starting to learn there's a lot of mechanics in this bloody hobby.
Oh yeah.
Like, we've got Alma, we've got Pirates of the Model Trains. Like, it's the one thing I find funny about this hobby is you look at a mechanic, right, or anyone who works with cars or trucks, we're heavy-handed. We're not the kind of guys who pick something up gently. It's like, come here, grab it, rip it out. And then we go, and then you go from that to itty-bitty tweezers, and we just say like, careful.
Well, I used to be a plumber, so our thing with that was just get a bigger wrench. If you can't get it broke loose, you just don't.
Yeah.
If you're either going to get it to unscrew or you're going to break it, one of the two. It's coming off.
Yeah. The one thing I used to hate is every time I use the tweezers, I just try and pick something up and I'm holding it and I'm like, gentle, don't press too hard, and then all of a sudden, flick.
And then you spend an hour.
You drop it, and then you can't find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you spend an hour on your knees looking for it.
Can't find it. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're coming up towards the end of the show, Shannon. Is there anything else that we need to announce, talk about for upcoming shows, etc., so on?
I know our show schedule might change a little bit. Like, if some people have noticed, there was no trackside beans. Like, I am trying to organise something a little bit different during the week. I'm talking with Heath. We might be doing something joint with his team. I don't know yet. It's very, very early days. Travelling boxcar. The HO one will be moving Monday. you know, as some people might know, Fred Wild did have a case of the showstopper. I don't believe he had it directly, but it was basically a member in his family, so the whole family had to be locked down. So I thought just to make sure nothing happens, I'd give the boxcar, you know, a bit of a quarantine period before getting it sent off. What else? The N scale boxcar. I'll try and get that moving Monday as well. I've got to try and get a hold of Ron Marsh because I know he's been very busy. He's been volunteering, you know, his time doing other things, so he's been pretty flat out himself. So I'll try and see if I can get a hold of him. See if I can get that one moving. Don't forget to bug Steve about the keychains.
Still got keychains.
Yep, so again, all the links are in the description below.
Topics.
Yeah, I've got a few topics in my emails, but so far it's only been 4 people contributing. Please, emails in the link below. Send us topics you want to talk about. We will talk about them. I am making a list. I'm putting on a list, ticking them all off as I go through the list.
Yeah. How about send in some videos of your layouts for intermission? We haven't done an intermission in a while. How about that?
Yeah, intermission videos. Send us that. I guess for the last 5 minutes, if anyone has, you know, any. Heath, I know you sent us suggestions.
Was aimed at you.
Don't make me fight you, Heath.
Hey Heath, there you go. That's just for you.
Hey Claude, I say you hold that above your head and then let go.
Yeah, like
But then it'll be
no.
Steve.
Yeah. Yes, Jason, I've got that in the list already. But for anyone else who hasn't contributed, again, emails down below. If you can give us 3 suggestions, great. If not, just give us 1 suggestion. Like during the week, I was looking through the suggestions and I found that there was a couple of people who actually suggested similar things. So we're going to try and make that into one show. So the more people that suggest, you know, the more I can look through the list and be like, oh, that person wants to talk about this aspect, but this person wants to talk about the flip side of it, so I can make one show out of that, you know, this and that. You know, like I can always build up on a topic the more ideas we've got to play with, you know. So the more topic ideas we have, the better quality content we can try and give to you guys. Apart from that, yeah, as I said, I'm doing part-time work. I might be at one point having 2 jobs. If I do get the second job, that'll mean I'll probably be out of action throughout the whole week because I'll be working 7 days a week. And then once I work out the logistics of that, once I get into a routine, then I'll try and figure out what days suits best for taking a day off. Anyone else have anything going on that might affect the show or improve the show or...
Roy hasn't even commented on my haircut yet. I'm disappointed. I'm hurt.
I didn't even notice.
Oh, boys.
Hey, don't look at me.
Hey,
I complimented
that's all
the
I
first...
care about.
That was the first thing I said to you.
I'm not looking at you, Shannon. I'm looking at these 2.
You just pointed at me.
Hey, I've got a 1-inch screen.
Look down there.
They're down below. They're down below.
Allie,
As long as
you're
you got the
this
ears
big.
on, Allie.
You're this big and you're 3 feet away. I can't see it anyway. I could barely see my phone.
Well, there's something I'd like to say.
Well, everybody have a good week.
Oh, actually,
Stace.
That's
Uh-oh,
another
he
thing.
got something else to
That's
say.
another thing. If anyone wants to jump up on panel and have us pick your brains about who you are, what you do, and all that shenanigans, again, email down below. Just say, hey, interview me, and we'll pop you on, and we'll try not to ask you the most obnoxious questions out there. Okay.
Right, in the operative word.
Well, if Heath jumps onto the show, then it's all over. He'll be asking every question that shouldn't be asked under the sun.
Well, did you see Heath's suggestion there? Why does AllyChat put up with back on track? Now, I don't know if she means if he means you as back on track or all of us. Probably all
Well,
of
I
us.
think it's more. They put up with me. Okay, they put up with me, especially when I fight with Shannon.
Yeah. Nah, it's more that we need common sense on the panel, because without common sense, the show derails quickly. The voice of reason.
I mean, what would you do without me? Seriously?
Alright, anyway, again, guys, thanks again for joining us this morning. I was about to take tonight.
Yep.
You know, keep up to date with everyone else's channels. As you can see, everything's gone down below. I know Cousin Vinny is going to be live in an hour. Sidetrack Sundays is on tomorrow at 8. And I believe it is Ray Bobel's turn, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, and you know, again, check out everyone else in the panel. You know, they've all got channels, they've all got videos. Support them. Let's support each other. I'm going to bed.
Resubscribe, because apparently if you don't watch any videos, YouTube will automatically unsubscribe you. So double check
Yes,
that.
Really? It's a new algorithm. So I don't know how old.
Nice.
I don't know how long it's been around, but basically, if you subscribe to someone and you don't watch at least a couple of videos and leave a few comments, after a certain time period, they'll automatically unsubscribe you from that channel.
Interesting.
Yeah, I found that out. I can't remember. It might have been through Heath or Jason or it might have even been Sparky. I can't even remember who it was I heard it through. All I remember is like, oh, that's annoying. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up because I want to go to bed.
Yeah, I think we're all
Peace
going to
out.
head off.
He says make
Have a
sure
good
everybody unsubscribes from Shannon.
Read the middle line, Heath. Read the middle line.
That's mean.
See you guys
Oh, we
later.
have to subscribe back. Later.
Oh.